Welcome back to the Social Selling Podcast. I'm going to start this one with a question. Who owns your LinkedIn profile? It's a pretty big question and a very controversial topic that I've seen and experienced go viral on LinkedIn, splitting opinions, making people question who owns it. Do you own it as the individual? Does your company own it? Does LinkedIn own it? Who owns your LinkedIn profile? And I guess if we take a step back, what is the question that kind of fuels this? It often comes from your company asking you, hopefully asking you, sometimes telling you what to do on LinkedIn. Do they have a right to do so? Can your company tell you what to do on LinkedIn or within your profile? If your company tells you to put a banner in your profile, can they do that? Now, I've seen some examples where LinkedIn has been included in corporate employment contracts, where usually it's around. I've seen some horrendous examples of where people have been told they're not allowed to use LinkedIn at work, which completely blows my mind. Luckily, not too many of those these days, but sometimes there will be certain, limitations, restrictions as to what you can and can't say. And for bigger companies, definitely important to have that in. If you're, working for a company that's got a big, successful, well-known brand, then absolutely the way you talk about it on social media can have a positive or negative impact on that. So there should be guidance and support. But who owns your LinkedIn profile? Is it your LinkedIn profile? Is it your company's LinkedIn profile? And I want to dig into what I think about this, what my experience has shown me about this, and what my experience has shown sort of how people and companies can navigate this question in a less confrontational way. So, again, a lot of the times this question comes up because a company will try and tell their teams how to use LinkedIn and what to do on LinkedIn. And let's be fair, LinkedIn is this weird hybrid social network where as individuals, as people, we're very used to our Facebook and our Instagram or our X is ours. We put whatever photo we want. A lot of the time we use it for personal reasons. We're connecting with friends and family and we're sharing the things we do in our personal time. We have full ownership and control over how we use sort of our social networks, our social media sites. Then comes along LinkedIn, and it is this weird hybrid model where it's a social network in the sort of B2B corporate space. And suddenly it's this platform where, okay, we do share our information. We'll have our profile, but it's a little bit more corporate, a bit more like a CV. We'll have a photo, but again, usually it's more of a corporate photo, more of a professional photo. And then we'll have our content, which again, sometimes is a little bit about us personally, but it's a lot more corporate. We're talking about work-related topics because it's a work-based social network. And it sits in the middle because then you've got obviously what would be more traditional marketing channels for companies. And a lot of people get confused. Well, who does own it? Are we using it for ourselves or are we using it for work? A lot of people are using it for work, but want control. And let's just clear the smoke and the confusion here. LinkedIn is a phenomenal tool. It's an amazing social network, but it is just how I've described it. It is the merger of both personal and professional. And my advice to companies is always very, very clear. It's not your place to tell your teams what to do, but to guide them, to ask them, to support them, to coach them into how to use it to benefit both parties. Now, I say a lot of leaders, some leaders, more than I'd like to admit, but there are leaders out there that have the unfortunate mentality of why do we want our teams using LinkedIn or being active or building their brands? Because they're just going to get poached. They're just going to get poached by recruiters. They're going to leave us. They're going to take their customers with them. And that sort of negative controlling mindset, which unfortunately sometimes equally limits how much training a company provides. Why do we want to train our team up when they're going to leave eventually? There's a famous quote, I think it's a Richard Branson quote, which is, what if you train your staff and they leave? The counter to that is, what if you don't train them and they stay? And it's the same with LinkedIn. If your team isn't using LinkedIn and they're staying, they're missing out on a huge opportunity. And I always try and flip this around. Instead of being focused or scared of what will happen if they leave or move on to another company, create an environment where they don't want to leave. Create a job where then, even if a million recruiters try to poach them, they're so happy in their job that it doesn't matter. So it's all about creating a better experience. Now, who owns your LinkedIn profile? Okay, let's be really technical here. LinkedIn ultimately owns it. It's LinkedIn's platform. If LinkedIn turned the button off and it's gone, you're not going to be able to get anything back from your profile. You can't magic it back up. It's done. So LinkedIn will always have ultimate control, which is why don't put all your eggs in one basket is a phrase that will always sit with me. And look, I'm Mr. LinkedIn here. I'm a LinkedIn trainer, speaker, author. I help companies all over the world with LinkedIn, but I have multiple income sources. My businesses are based in lots of different areas. And if LinkedIn was to unfortunately disappear, then I still have businesses to go into and grow. So for me, I've worked hard to build that security, and it's the same thing I teach to sales teams. It's not about going all in on social selling and LinkedIn. You've got to make sure you're using cold calling and emails and you're building pipeline in different areas. But fingers crossed, LinkedIn isn't going anywhere. But as I said, LinkedIn technically owns your profile. But if we took a step outside of that and look at who has the better right between you and your company, I think it will always be that you should have the right and control of your profile. It is your profile. You can choose to not use LinkedIn for work. You could choose to delete your profile. Your company can't do anything about it. They can't make you have a LinkedIn profile. It is you. It is not them. It's not like you're creating a profile for their brand. It is you as an individual. And I will always try and discourage any form of force or control or making people do things. I just don't think that's an effective strategy at all. What I would encourage is look at the mutually beneficial outcomes that being active on LinkedIn can bring. So, as the individual, yes, it's your profile. You should absolutely own it, but it is definitely in your interest to work with your company to optimize that profile, to build your brand, to have lots of great information in your profile about your company. It is absolutely in your interest to do that. You want to have a uniform profile that has a nice professional banner that associates with your company. You want to have lots of good information about your company and what you're doing, especially if you work in sales, because that's how you create sales opportunities from LinkedIn. So yes, it's your profile, but it's definitely in your interest to probably follow the guidance that your company is suggesting for what you do with your profile. So it's not necessarily about them telling you what to do, but it's about you being open to, okay, their guidance. Yes, your company might want you to put this banner up or put this information in. And as long as you agree, you can ask and challenge and question. But as long as you see that, yep, I can see having those things in my profile is going to make my profile look better, which subsequently is going to make me look better. Great. Your company wins because they get your profiles all looking nice and smart, which makes the company look smart. Great. You can both then look at how you use LinkedIn to generate sales opportunities and grow your personal brand to generate sales for the company and grow your audience, which for you, for your long-term benefit as the individual, might open doors for maybe future promotions or future job opportunities should you need them. So again, it's a mutually beneficial scenario. You using your LinkedIn profile to help the company is going to help you both short term and long term. And if at some point you leave the company, well, your company should have benefited enough during that time frame and would have gained an audience and customers and a network based off your time of using LinkedIn productively. So in my opinion, absolutely, it's your profile. No one should be telling you what to do, but you should be open-minded to the guidance, coaching, and support your company might be giving to help you get more from LinkedIn. Mutually beneficial so that you're getting benefits as well as your company. Be smart about this. It's not about you just being completely independent on LinkedIn is going to struggle to generate results. All of the most successful salespeople and social sellers out there, they all are successful under the umbrella of their company. It's not because they go out solo. Even if at some point down the line they get a new job or they start their own business, great. They're only able to do that because of the success they achieved at that company. So if your company is telling you what to do, feel free to question it. and make sure that if they're telling you to make your profile look really boring and corporate and not personal at all, probably maybe not the best advice. So maybe just challenge them and say, look, I get it. I want my profile to look good, but is that what our customers will want to see? Does it actually answer our customers' questions? Is that going to convert people that come and see my profile into potential customers? Or maybe should we do X, Y, and Z? Maybe should we do some training or whatever it may be? So always look at the bigger picture. But yes, when it comes down to it, here's your profile. You absolutely should have end say. But let's all be open minded here. We're all here, hopefully, to get the most out of LinkedIn and social selling. So we should be working with the trainers and our company to make sure our profiles, our content, our strategy is all aligned to getting the best result for us and, most importantly, for our customers. So hopefully this gives you some clarity. And as always, if you have any questions, if you're not sure if your company's pushing a bit too much, or if you're a leader and you don't know how to get your team updating their profiles, any questions, feel free to ping them to me on LinkedIn. And with that, I'll see you on the next episode.